8 minutes, 46 seconds, and how long it took the police to actually kill him. 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yeah, I actually made the mistake of watching the video. It's, it'll make you want to cry.
Oh, yeah. No, it's horrible. It's something everybody should watch at some point. Because...
And it's something that stays with you.
Yeah, it's important that you do watch it.
Yeah, he cries for his mother, and the cop taunts him in response.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, it's hard to take advice from us because we're three whiteys. But I mean, the point is that, you know,
we're three whiteys trying to be socially aware.
We're socially aware. We know what's going on, and we feel the pain. And though we will never fully feel the pain that the black community has felt. In that sense, we understand what's going on. And so if you don't fully understand and you're sitting there saying that these protests are wrong, that the rioting is wrong, things like this you have to understand. Go watch that video if you haven't, because then you'll understand. And I don't want to hear about criminal backgrounds either. Screw that. I don't want to hear that. This is what the police did to this guy at this point in time, and he didn't deserve it.
Yes, you know, they did not have that information that, you know, the media tends to come out with afterwards during the time when he was gasping for air, calling for his mom, and then for the last 2 minutes and 36 seconds lying completely unresponsive while no one did anything. The other 3 police officers that weren't seen stood by and watched, and that sick bastard that put his knee on his throat stayed there for that amount of time, knowing that there's no movement under him, and did nothing. So,
and the paramedics didn't even bother to do CPR either when they put him on the gurney.
Yeah.
Well, because he was too. You only have a short amount of time.
Right.
The brain loses oxygen to actually jumpstart things. Like, you have a longer amount of time, you know, when it first happens to start the process and to bring things back. But the longer you don't start the process, then there's no hope. And so the paramedics, with it being that 2.5 minutes of him sitting there with him unresponsive, but not just unresponsive, but continuing to cut off the airway, they knew that there was no way that they could do anything because, you know, continuing to cut off the airway when he had already expired, that meant that his natural body didn't even have a shot to take that gasping breath. So, I mean, not to blame the paramedics.
There was really nothing they could do.
There was nothing that can be done. Once you reach that point, there's nothing that can be done.
No.
Because they weren't there right after that happened either.
Right.
They were there after it was called in, when the cops realized that they had...
Oh, we just murdered somebody.
Yeah, we just murdered somebody, but we don't want to get in trouble for this, so let's cross our T's and dot our I's so that it looks like we are kind and considerate.
The thing is, though, he still had his knee on his neck even when the ambulance pulled up.
America!
And I guess to anybody speaking to his criminal background, are any of the offenses that he's accused of, are they worthy of the death penalty?
Not one. And especially not for what he was getting in trouble for at that time, which was an alleged forged check. It wasn't even proven, it was just allegedly.
Mm-hmm. He allegedly forged a check.
Yeah.
And he was not what they called the violent criminals either.
No.
So, you know, when people talk about his background, he doesn't have like a secret dogfighting ring or something.
Right.
But that doesn't matter anyway, because individuals can make mistakes that does not warrant the police to take it upon themselves to play judge, jury, and executioner.
And to put it in context, Dylan Roof killed 9 people, black people, in a church with a segregation patch on his jacket, and he was taken into custody without a scratch. So
he's taken into custody alive, and I think they got him like Burger King or something to get him to talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was fine.
Right.
And you know, to put it in another context, just recently, when the protests that were before the current protest, there were white men with automatic rifles on their backs storming government buildings, and the most the cops did was whisper, "Please quiet down, sir." Like, they did nothing. And that is definitely a higher threat than a forged check and somebody laying on the ground.